you going to attempt that one?
I am not.
You have the right hair for it. You don't have to worry about it's already tied back, ready to go.
But you guys know like Tony's events, right? For like to go hard, like it's so hard to get your blood flowing. You're like,
But by day 3, you feel weird if you're not jumping early, right?
yes.
I know you're like, so awesome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Come on camera. Let's get visible. All right, Ed Cross is back, finally. Where in the world? Don't ever do that to us again, please. Oh, God.
I
Welcome.
promise I missed y'all more than you missed me.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a whole group here, but that's good. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you, Jeremy. Okay, Melanie, if you have a win that you want to share, first of all, let me say today is an exciting day. So after these wins, we are bringing up one of our strategic advisors, DMA Anderson, who is graduated from Stanford, in case you didn't know. And Corgi, I have learned, is the mascot for Stanford. Netflix is a client. She was
Oh, no.
No.
It's a tree.
It's a tree.
It's a tree.
Okay. So we're not going to share everything she says, but I just want to tell you, we have our lead strategist working with us today, and she's a strategist at that Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, has been a client, and many major companies. Disney is still using some of her methodology in their hiring, and she has several patents, and she is here to coach us up because you're visionary leaders and you are here to impact the world in a positive way. And she gets behind people like us, and we are so freaking grateful for that. Okay, Melanie, a win. Share your win.
Where is Arthur? Is Arthur here?
I'm not sure.
Oh my God. Okay. So DMA, you had me, my blue sky. For those of you that are new, welcome. DMA coached me. I missed, because of the LA fires, I missed her initial introduction into our program. And so I typed something in the chat and I didn't know quite what was going on, but DMA put me in the love seat and coached me to my blue sky and had me dancing around the fire in Africa, because I know exactly where I want to go. Talking about trees, Angela James, she's new, she's in South Africa, she's here. She coached me the morning before I went to South Africa on October 29th, and she told me I had to go to the baobab tree in South Africa. And that's one of the things that we need to do when we go to South Africa, is go to the baobab tree. But anyway, after we got off the South Africa call this morning, or not South Africa, sorry, Africa Rising, but South Africa is in my mind. So Art and I, through this community, we met in this community with Sam, who's one of our Africa leaders. We are organizing an event this coming year, a small event, and then we're organizing our big trip for next year. Jimmy is volunteering to help do the escape part of the trip as we come to Africa next year. And so when we got off the call, talk about blue sky, DMA. I cannot believe that this is actually happening.
I love the energy. I love it.
I don't have my freaking CRM. I don't have my website submit. Blah, 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 blah. And this is coming to fruition, you guys. My blue sky, there is going to be sky and sunshine, and we're all going to be together because it's the divas. Here we come.
Well, Melanie, what I love, apart from the energy, you even got Kim Cross pumping the jam over there. I saw that, Kim. You brought it way back. She pumped it up for you. What I love about that is, and we'll all get to experience some of that through possibly today and other times that we have DMA with us, is that you're right. You're already landing on creating and manifesting the blue sky without your CRM yet, without your email list, without the other things that you intend to put in, which DMA often says it's not about the process. It's about the outcome. It's not about the idea. It's about the outcome. So that is amazing. DMA, is there anything you want to say to that before we take the other wins?
Two things. First, my sister's name is also Melanie. So you are manifesting. That's the term that we use. It was very high manifestation. And the second piece, just piggybacking on what Adora said, the two things that came together in what you were saying, one was that you move towards outcome and you weren't fixed in how you're supposed to get there, and outcome is already manifesting. And the second piece is the whole conversation about, am I creating infrastructure or am I creating change? And when you start focusing on creating change instead of, did I get the website? Do I have my CRM? Everything you just said is a beautiful, beautiful frame of mind to be in.
So can I just personally thank you, my love?
Thank you. I'm just thinking of all you'll bring to the world.
So we have 3 minutes and we've got to dive in. So 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, ladies? Laura, be laser, 1 minute.
I have a guest on the call, Betsy. Yay, Betsy. And I'm so excited to have her have Melanie's explosive appreciation as the first experience that she has. So welcome, Betsy Schwartz. She's currently in that Arizona world, and she sells the stuff that makes my lashes so long, the Lash Boost. I don't wear false lashes, I wear her product. If you want big, wonderful lashes, get Betsy.
We want everything's bigger in Texas. So bring it on, Betsy. All right. So yes, thank you, Laura. We love having new people in our room. And if you're invited in this room, it's because Laura or whoever invited you considers you to be a driven, inspiring, visionary, authentic leader. So welcome. We love you. That's where you have landed, is a room full of those same types of people. Michelle.
I am just so full of gratitude for this room who has helped me structure my 2-day festival next week, restructured it all thanks to Brianna. Dora, DMA are speaking on it. I'm so grateful to each of you as well and what we did. And to talk this off, Dora, yesterday I made the first paid sale of the first participant paid coming next week. So it's coming, it's starting. So thank you.
Guys, give it up for sales, give it up for revenue. That means the business gets to eat and she gets to keep going. That means she figured out value and communicating it. I love it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, way to go. Deirdre. Okay, say your name. I'm so used to calling
you
Barbara.
you can say Barbara. That's okay. We'll have to do a one-on-one on that one.
Okay.
But thanks, Adora. I just want to say, DMA, you had me just going after you put me on the spot that time, and so I just want to welcome my Bree Jabari. She's my partner. So we are just on the roll. The company is registered, the landing company. Like, you have no idea. We are on cloud, I don't even know, 1,000 miles. So I'm so happy. And she's here as well. But I say to her, you cannot miss to hear this woman. She just got me driven and just really so focused on how we really want to do that whole piece of empowerment of not dependent, the non-dependence, aspect of it. So thank you. That's my win. Wow. And thank you, Sipo. She's going to be our founder member here. Woohoo! So many wins.
Dan Sage is a founder, by the way. We haven't figured out his background, but let's give it up for the men in the room as well. And Sifo, she's been coming to our calls and has such a bright energy and light. And yes, and DMA, who has been coaching us and reminding us every time we get stuck. I'm talking we at the Diva Network. What are your customers saying? What are the outcomes you want for them? Are they getting results? So I hope we're making you proud, DMA. They came in reporting.
I mean, this is incredible.
and many of those directly related to how you've coached us and how you've coached the group and the ripple of that. So we personally and as a collective, thank you. Fill it up in the chat. And all of our new guests, some of you, if you were on that Africa call this morning, raise your hand. Oh my gosh. Africa is rising. And again, DMA, birthed in that VIP room. You have got to, we had former UN person on. We had people like Sifo on, who has her beauty line with African roots in the midst of it as the base, the oils. We had so many movers and shakers that have really created. Barbara's sister, blood sister, who has created one of the biggest movements in Africa, helping women or children who have been orphans learn fathering, mothering, and life skills and family connection, and who's ready for her next run. And part of that next run is locking arms with the Diva Network so that we can have the global impact that we're all seeing here together. Jeremy, you were on that call, Ruth. And so I just want to say it's an honor and a privilege. And without pumping up anymore, we want to bring DMA to do what she does best and help us stay outcome driven and live our best lives. And what else, DMA? What else are you here to do?
I'm here. This is not going to surprise most people on this call. I'm also here to deliver what you need today. So I'm going to just start doing an overview. But if everyone who has a very specific outcome for today that really matters, just put it into the chat, and we're going to make sure we're talking to it. So outcome. Don't necessarily talk about a process, but like I'm trying to increase revenue as an outcome versus I need to sign up for Stripe. Does that make a distinction? Make that outcome as open as possible so that we can deliver in ways that might be different than the way you've decided it's going to happen, or the way you need it to happen, or the only kind of way you know it could happen. So outcomes let the world get very big around you. Somebody, was it who was saying that the baobab tree represented resilience? I just wanted to.
Yes, let's.
Yeah, that's just lovely. That's lovely. Thank you for that share. Because some folks are new, and because it's really driving how we're going to approach the boards, I'm going to share my screen, and we're just going to go through this at the top, and then I'm going to talk about how I approach this. Because I am all about productivity and collaboration. How I approach this isn't the only way it can be done, but it works for me, and I want you to kind of run with it in terms of how you think. So the first thing is, you might be starting with an idea. So I'm going to put this in brackets, right? I have an idea because
some people don't know Corgi, and they're brand new to the community.
Completely new. Sure. Let me do this. This is going to be nice and easy. You guys, Corgi is a productivity and collaboration super app. A super app means I have a whole bunch of apps together in a single app. So if you're used to opening a whole bunch of different tabs to do your Google Sheets and your Gmail and got my contacts pop in and I'm going to calendar something, all of these apps are actually integrated into a single board so that you have a single source of truth for your life, for your projects. These are all the little corgis that are working for you. So if you look at just what's happening on this screen, you're seeing that they're cards that you can type into, just like an index card. You can drag and drop them around. We've integrated all of your go-to productivity tools in the current original version, so you can create documents. It names everything for you, shares it for you, stores it for you, and more. We've also integrated, this is unbelievable, I feel like I'm live navigating. We've integrated chat straight into the board, so all of the team conversations can happen within the board. Those can be turned into tasks. So you're not managing with a bunch of different tools. And this is the integration of all of your Google, your Gmail, your calendars. You can come in here and search. If I want to call Adora, I can type in Adora, and every email message between us, our calendar appointments, pops up, nice focus. And I can turn any of those into additional cards and or tasks on the board. So I want you just to think of it as an all-in-one productivity solution that's as simple as what you're looking at here now. If you just used it for cards on the board, to have everything in one place, it's a nice win.
And all of you have this. So if you're brand new, why you're stepping right into this conversation is DMA. This is her creation. She took what she uses for big companies and went, how do I download that to the solopreneur, the smaller, the teams with medium-sized companies. And so she gave us all a 97-day version of this. So if you're new and you don't have that, Jennifer will say in the chat how you do that. But the team requested a Corgi board working session. And so why she's having you do your outcomes first is because everything, you're going to take that outcome and manage it and have it come to fruition on Corgi board. So this was by request. So if you came in and you're like, now where am I? That's where you are. I hope that catches everyone up. Is everyone? Okay. Good.
Thank you so much, Adora. And I want to, just based on what Dadore said, I wanted to add one more piece. There are pre-built boards. So just for where she and her partner Gerbery are right now, they might want to come in and create a pre-built board called the Business Organizer. So if you don't even know where to begin, then you could take this template and it's going to have every single step that you're going to need to do. And you're going to add your documents or create your documents from the board. You're going to add links or create links from the board, etc. So the idea is, how do we make this as easy as possible and democratize it? If you don't know how to set up, if you want to, add more columns, you can. So here's this is where I'm going to get all my vision info, all of my links. Where's my payment platform, my design tools, my assets? Do you see? So some of these you're going to have some help getting started on. It's going to tell you exactly what to do. All right. So let's go back to the nice painless blank board, the blank board. And I just want to, from the top, even if you're only starting with an idea now, the purpose of the idea is to say it will help this specific customer. And a customer is anyone whose life you want to change. Once you've identified the customer whose life you want to change, you're going to take the idea and put that to the side and get into the customer conversation. And so the next thing you want to do is have a customer conversation. And you're going to ask them, what does amazing look like for you? That's the most important question. And give it a timeline, like I would say in the next 12 months, so that you're getting them as blue sky as possible. Like visionary is not what's likely to happen. What would be good enough for someone like me, right? But what would knock your socks off? And then the 3 powerful questions. What frictions need to be removed for this to happen? What's getting in the way? What resources need to be added? What can we add to your toolkit? What can we add to your contacts and your outreach? And what gaps can be closed? And sometimes these 3 are very close to each other, and sometimes they're wildly different. Every decision you're going to make is going to follow these customer conversations, because as long as you've talked to them, all of your opportunities and their connection to you as a solution provider are going to be tied into what they're telling you they're trying to make happen and what they need to make happen. And this is the shift. I can type from product orientation, product execution, let's say, to customer solution. Once you have made that shift, everything changes. So how do we put it on its feet, right? Today is execution day. So great, I'm moving out of, I want to make my film festival. I want to release this line of t-shirts to, this is whose life I want to change. This is what they're telling me meaningful change looks like. And these are all of the pathways. I could create this resource. I could remove this friction. I could close or fill this gap. That's the mindset of a truly unlimited entrepreneur. And so here's the process. And some of you have seen this before, but I want you to really fall into it. You have to clear your mind. At minimum, every day. At minimum, every single day. I do mine. I sit at 7:30 every single morning and I brain dump. Now, I also have my main task board on my phone. So anytime something's coming into my mind, I'm just dumping. You could dump at different places, but you really want that single source of truth. So even if you do, then your mornings are going to be transferring your handwritten notes or your task. I'm not married to the process, but everything has to live. What what was that idea I had? Who do I need to contact? What deadlines are coming up? Do you see what I'm saying? Everything that's sitting in your mind, creating potential blockages, anxiety, and taking up the space you need to be great. You don't need that to live in your mind, and it's the least effective place for it to be. The most effective place for it to be is captured tangibly somewhere, and I am wildly biased, but there's no more powerful place to be capturing that than here, right? What, files or documents do I have to create? What sites do I need to visit? Right? So anything that's in your mind, every thought, every question gets dumped into here. And as you're doing that inside of Corgi, and this is a tiny bit of training on Corgi, but I'm going to show you where you can watch videos on Corgi because it's not that complex. I want to teach you how to use it in terms of strategic use of it, not feature by feature use. But if there are specific features, someone mind the chats. What was the idea I had? You're going to write that down. Or you might say, I need to really do a brain dump, right? So I'm going to come into Corgi and I'm going to click this Google Doc and it's going to create it for me. It's going to share it with anyone I'm sharing my board with. It's going to folder it for me into my Corgi. I don't have to do anything but click and start getting my ideas onto the page, right? So I want you to start connecting the brain dump to execution in the same space. Who do I need to contact? I need to contact, I'm going to click on Google Contacts. I'm going to pick, MK or someone who's going to be here's MK. As soon as I say it, and if they're not in my contacts, I'm going to click and I'm going to create a new contact in here so that I'm centralizing the contacts in the space. Now, when it's time for me to email, when I'm organizing, I can click this. It's going to open my Gmail. I'm going to get popping. What deadlines are coming up? I just got a deadline for a grant application, or I have to turn this in before our next Diva Network call on blah, blah, blah. I'm going to come in here, click the icon, create the calendar appointment. It's going to invite the other folks who share the board with me if I would like to, and then it's going to create the calendar event. This is how I strategically want you to think about using the cards on the board as a one-stop shop for every single idea in your mind. Thoughts and questions?
Yes, let's go ahead and raise your emoji hands and then stop the screen share for a moment, DMA, if you
got it.
And I'm feeling like they'd really love your coaching in general on their Blue Sky. See, I knew it. I'm like, you guys are, so we may listen to the customer feedback and go there and then set up a separate DMA Corgi work session that you guys enroll for, or you you register and you're going there just with your Corgi questions. And so yes, DMA.
Adora, let me show them one thing and then we can get back to Blue Sky. I can do Blue Sky all day. This is your console. If you just go to Corgi AI and say, how do I add a new, you don't have to shout at Corgi AI, add a new column. Corgi AI will tell you. You don't even have to go to our help. It's completely trained on everything. So if you have questions about the application, it's going to answer them for you. And there's very deep integrated help with videos and everything else you need in terms of using the system if you need help right now.
Okay. Yeah. They want your strategy brain, DMA, and I don't blame you. Go the videos.
Yes.
Watch the videos.
And yes, Angela, Corgi would directly replace Notion, but it could also enhance it. But yes, you could absolutely replace Notion and create the solution in Google Workspace instead.
Two things before we start the coaching, okay? Because are you consider yourself a generous community? Are you generous? Do you like generosity? Then I want to see participation, comments, but a couple things. One, DMA has a book coming out. What does amazing look like? And so we all want to pre-order that book and master that and support her. Also, if you know company owners that have teams, small teams, we at the Diva Network are starting to regain some of our sanity because of Corgi, because I think like spaghetti, every hair is connected to something else, and we need compartments for it. And so we need one single source of truth. So if you know companies that have employees and are at that, or teams and they're at that place, refer Corgi to DMA, or refer them to DMA, and bring those contacts to her, because this is her baby and she launched it seeing everyone win, knowing that not everybody can afford her fees and gets into the rooms. And she wanted to make it very easy for you all to win, which is why we're aligned and she's here with you right now. So those of you that are connectors and people that have teams, refer them to DMA and to Corgi. Okay. All right.
Tanya, if someone has the sign up link, people are asking for the link. I just want to make sure we're putting in the Diva Network link.
Okay. Perfect.
And yes, we have yes, Lorna, real estate offices. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Shall we start going through the hands?
Let's go, Tanya. Hers is a Corgi question.
It is. Thank you. Thank you so much, DMA. I'm still having to catch up with the previous ones because I wasn't there in person, but I will. I love geeking out with these things and learning new ways. So I'll get there. And the question is, what's stopping me is that my email is linked with Microsoft on my Mac. Does that still link with that, or should I just? I've been tinkering with this. I was like, oh, I should just start my whole Google space and everything and a new email with new Gmail with the courage to be, instead of doing it, and just transferring it. But just the thought of it seems so big. So
easy answer.
Questions.
Easy answer. You need a Gmail or Google account to log in, but it also integrates with Microsoft. You turn that on in settings. I love the name with the courage to be. I love naming things inspirationally. So maybe just create that as a credential account for anything that needs a Gmail login like Corgi, and then immediately connect to your Microsoft 365, and then just use it for Microsoft 365. You can create Word docs, Excel docs, calendar to Outlook calendar with Corgi, just like you can with Google Workspace. The board itself will be saved to Google. The card information will be saved to Google, but you can continue using Microsoft 365 for all of your documents and calendaring with Corgi.
Okay, awesome. And then one follow up with that. So I do have a Gmail account, but it's more of my personal stuff. Like, would it make sense to log in with that email, or create a new one?
Files and where your calendar lives, definitely use that. Rather than have a blank thing you need to start transferring stuff over to, just use your existing one and connect Microsoft so that you can stay in the ecosystem you prefer to be in.
Got you. Thank you so much.
That's what we were solving for. Thank you, Tom. Yay.
Yay. All right, Abigail. And so when you all bring your questions, because I want each of you to get a chance to get coaching here, and we have a limited time, let's just cut out the I knew this but didn't do that, and then I did this and then I did that, and let's go right to the question or to the comment, just to be efficient. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Abigail.
I ain't know none of this. So I'm going to just put that out there. And you just helped me so much because, all right, so I've got 8 boards because I know how to make boards. But the fact that the business one, when you just did that, that really helped a lot. I'm all over the place like Adora. Michelle knows she tries to keep me intact. So one of the things that I said to Michelle is I like Corgi, but I can't go in and type in it and make statements and do things in it like I can with Trello. And what you just showed me helped me so much. Good. Thank you. Now I just got to figure out, and I think you sent me an email. I don't know how, but I have a lot of Trello boards that I now have to transfer over to Corgi. And I've got to figure out how to do that.
Yes, there's an export feature in Trello, and then we can literally bring it in. It's honestly, well, you said a lot. So yes, I know that we have an exchange around that, but yes, it's a fairly straightforward thing for us to do.
After
and there's no limit to how many boards I can have? There's no limit to
the
how
limit is it's Google Drive. If you are out of space in Google Drive, you are also out of space in Corgi. We're saving everything to your own account, not to our servers. So as long as you've got space in Google, you've got space with Corgi.
After 90
Thank
days, it's how much per month? Someone asked.
Oh, it's if you do monthly, it's 14 a month. If you do annually, it's 144, so 12 a month.
Yeah. So come on. You know, come on. That's your freaking 2 coffees or tea for Alora or 1 wind dancing scarf at a really swell deal. Okay, Justine.
To use that.
Okay. I just came from a book meeting about my book to this, and so here's where when you just did that brain dump thing, I'm like, do I need a different Corgi board for my book, my course, my thing? I think you're going to tell me no.
It depends. I think you might want to, if there's a lot of stuff, like if you need for your book, marketing, sales, blah, da, 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 and then you're doing a total separate set of activations, then I would say, yeah, you probably want a board. You know, each of my clients has its own board. Then I've got a launcher board. And that's the board that's probably going to bring some sanity because you have a lot of plates spinning. So you have a launcher board that has your quick links and, you know, quick links to your projects, all of those things. And then you would link each Corgi board so that when you need to be about your book, you go to the book Corgi board. If it's just a handful of things, then you might just do columns for each of the projects on the same board.
Right. So for starting out to get it all on here, and I loved you did your brain, like your morning brain dump. I guess I'm not clear where that goes. Like,
yeah,
because I just like, okay, brain dump ideas. And then I realized, okay, my bills to pay, that's personal. So I made a column for personal.
That's what you're doing.
Would that be a good way to start? Like,
yes, make a column for your buckets. Dump
Yeah.
everything and clear your mind and keep it on the left. So on your phone, you're not scrolling, you're just boom, boom, boom. And then in the morning after you dump, you start dragging and dropping to categorize. Don't ever try and brain dump and categorize at the same time. It's asking too much of yourselves. You know, brain dump and drink, you know, a latte. And then start categorizing, because while you're doing that, I then color code my priority cards with a nice bright fluorescent color. And I don't allow myself to have more than 1 priority card in each column. Then the next morning you go through and you ideally are checking, yes, brain dump on Corgi, and then you're checking off those beautiful completed fluorescent cards. And it just feels very systematic.
Dopamine.
And all of that is included in your membership, even if you do different boards. So don't think like, oh, it's a whole new account, it's a whole new board.
Okay. But
you guys have the highest
in
level
terms of process, I think what you're suggesting is start with 1. And then I'll realize, okay, the book needs its own, the course needs its own, my Such a Voice voiceover needs its own, like then separate, dump and then separate.
Start
Dump
with a single
I'm going to make a
board.
bumper sticker.
Dump it into Corgi. And just a reminder to use the link, and you guys have a free version of the Plus plan, which is our highest level plan. Don't switch over to the college plan because it's free. You guys have the free version, and the college plan is a very limited plan that you know, you have access to college application templates and to 2 boards, because we're trying to help kids get into college, but you won't be able to do any of this stuff. You won't be able to share. That's not the purpose of the student plan.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Justine. Lorna is, and now I'm curious if we're all on Corgi, our strategy.
Hi, Lorna.
Yeah. Yay.
guys. So first of all, I'm going to say brain dump because it's such a good word, and you just turned my brain on, because I brain dump in a book and then I can't find it. So thank you for reminding me that I get to brain dump in Corgi.
Yes.
Right. And I love this because after I brain dump in the book, then I go to ChatGPT and go bonkers with the idea, right? So how can I connect the ChatGPT? Is there a way to do that? To
Right
connect
now,
the ChatGPT
only
to
Google
my
Gemini
idea?
sorry.
Only Google. Okay.
Right now, only Google Gemini is connected. So you make a shortcut to ChatGPT, add a link in your little quick links, make a column for you guys, you know, those bookmarks that are killing you at the top of just make a column for quick links. And then you'll have here's all of my design links, here's my chat links. So if you're using ChatGPT or Perplexity or Copilot or anything, Google Gemini powers Corgi AI. So you can use Google Gemini inside of Corgi. Otherwise, click the link, and then when you get the thing that you're loving in ChatGPT, then you're in that crazy canvas mode and you're like, this is overwhelming. click the copy icon, come right back to Corgi, create a Google Doc and a click and dump it in there, because now you're going to be able to search it as part of your Google Drive search, share it as part, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ecosystem baby back into Corgi.
Okay, so let me repeat what you just said, so I make sure I got it. I could do my theory in ChatGPT, then copy it into Gemini onto Corgi.
Or
Pretty
copy
much,
it into a Google Doc in Corgi.
Google Doc, and
So
then
ChatGPT is going to come back with a freaking banner.
yeah.
With a
Yeah.
CVS receipt worth of responses. And so I just hit that copy thing and I dumped the whole thing into a Google Doc on that card, because it's more manageable. And then I can I can look at it with outline mode. I can, share it with the other board members, etc.
Okay.
And I want to request at least one person ask a question about your someone who's stuck in their business or their vision, that wants to get clear on their blue sky and have a breakthrough there, just so you all that are brand new get a little taste and watch the other things. Yes, DMA.
Quick question, just because there's only 2 more hands up that I'm seeing. I don't know how many. I'm only seeing 2 more hands up, 3 more hands up. Are any of these blue sky related, or are they all Corgi related?
Corgi, Tanya says, Corgi, Jeremy.
So let's try and knock them out, and then we'll do a single blue sky love seat like we did, what we did too the other time, because I think that was helpful, just watching someone go through it. So let's find someone who's got the blue sky question and let me knock out the Corgi question.
And did Dr. Inez already, was yours blue sky, Dr. Inez?
Yes.
Okay, let's have it be Dr. Inez, Justine, because we haven't had a lot with her. Okay, let's go ahead. Jeremy. Unmute, honey bunny.
All right. Thank you, DMA, for this session. And it's a wonderful, wonderful system. So I have 2 questions. First question is, can a CRM system be incorporated in Corgi? And the second question would be, since we are in the financial sector industry, which is highly regulated, how would this work if we want to input consumer information in Corgi? And what is like the cybersecurity protocols, and just making sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's, because it's so heavily regulated. We just want to make sure that everything is just compliance from a compliance point of view. What are your suggestions for incorporating consumer data into Corgi?
All right, so let's start with the second one. That's so important. So we are Google CASA Tier 2 compliant because of the APIs that we're using, the connectors that we're using, so that you can create things from Corgi and store them to Google Workspace. Corgi is not storing any of the card data unless you're building a template for yourself. So your compliance, any compliance clearance you have in your Google Workspace is the compliance clearance you have. If you're not allowed to put consumer data into the Google Workspace version that you have, if your enterprise plan doesn't, it's not cleared for that, then you don't want to put that into Corgi, because it's being stored to Google Workspace. That being said, if your Microsoft 365 solution is compliant, then I want you to think about, when you're using Corgi to create your Microsoft Docs and calendars and stuff like that, none of that's being stored. We're just creating APIs to say, we're going to let you create and store and share and name files from our app, but it's actually all happening in Microsoft. So whichever backend you're using is going to determine your compliance.
Okay, thank you.
In terms of CRM connections, we don't directly connect to any CRM yet. Certainly Salesforce, as you can imagine, is a fairly common requested connector for us. But if there's a specific one that you're interested in, I know, Adora, that the one we always talk about, I can't think of the name of. If there's a specific, yes, Go High Level, right? If there's a specific one you're interested in, I would love the name of it so we can research their APIs and see what it looks like. Everyone doesn't always make it easy to connect to their platform.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dora. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. All right, Tanya. And then Dr. Inez.
If we have an assistant, does she get access to it too, or does she have her separate Corgi board? And if we're merged and we're both looking at it together, can she see all my boards, or she's seeing different things?
That's a great question. Ideally, you would have 2 separate accounts and share boards for exactly this reason. So she can only see boards you share with her. For speed, if you create a board for the company, for the 2 of you, every board that you add to that board using, internally on that board automatically gets shared with her. If you don't want it to be shared, you go back to the main Corgi board page and you create a separate board. Corgi boards are being saved to tabs in Google Worksheets. So sharing works just like a Google Worksheet. If I add you to this Google Worksheet, you have access to every single tab. So you and your assistant are going to share a collection of boards, just like, Adora and her team share a collection of boards. But then your executive side may say, we're going to do our own separate boards, and we're not going to invite the coordinators to join in those boards. So you completely control that.
But then would I have to sign her up for a separate account? Like I have my own account and she has her own account?
Yes, you want her to have her own
Okay.
account because especially if you're using task management in chat, you want to see the person's name pop up. It shows you who completed stuff, who resolved stuff. And so I need a display name to be distinct. If you don't care about those things and you can share your Google sign-in, then you could technically both work from the same account.
Got you. And the last question is for you guys mentioned for divas that we have like these 90 days with it. Is there a special link or a code that we need to access it with?
Yes.
Yes. And that link is,
Okay.
we'll get it back into the chat,
Okay.
and it is through the end of this experience. So I think it expires in May. Whenever you start, so if you start in the beginning, it was a 97-day one. It's whatever remains of this challenge. But we're trying to keep it as affordable as possible. So,
$14 a month. Yeah, it's a really big.
so,
Perfect.
but
Thank
you have
you.
many months, you have a couple months to go before the current one expires.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're
All right,
welcome.
thank you.
All right, let's spotlight Dr. Inez and DMA. Cheryl, good to see your face. We've missed your face. Oceans of Grace rhymes with missed your face.
It's a lot, Dr. Inez. There you are.
It's so great to have to listen to you today and to hear about the Corgi. I know nothing about Blue Sky. So that is why I put my hand up, because I'd like to hear what that's all about and how it could be beneficial to me.
Can I walk you through a series of questions?
Yes, please.
What inspired you to join the Diva Network? What was the best possible outcome of you coming into the challenge?
The best possible outcome for me was to get to know more people and to get the connections that I could use, and also to learn more about how to network, how to be inclusive. And that's amazing what I wanted to do.
I love that. And if you think about having the most extraordinary experience in this challenge that you could ever have dreamt of, what's an amazing outcome that you're sitting and just basking in this May and June? Like, oh, I can't believe this happened. Oh, I love what you just did. You looked at your sky. Yes, ma'am. Breathe it in.
Well, is to just know that I'm connected with people who are connected in a way that serves all of us to reach our goals and do the things and be the person that I know myself to be. That would be my thing right there.
And if you had this beautiful network of connections, like truly invested, empathetic, caring people, network of connections, what's something that would be amazing to accomplish that would give you a sense of meaning and impact in the world?
One of the things that I have been working on ever since I started my business was working with 5 different countries in Africa that's having problems getting their countrymen to embrace their vision of how they want to create. And I'm looking forward to working with them to get them so they speak the language that resonates at a deep level with the country people, so that they can have the lifestyle and create the desires of their heart and live a life that they love.
So I'm hearing communication, lifestyle elevation, and I love what you said, living a life that they love, a true sense of actualization. Yeah. Can you give me a practical outcome so I can really put this on? Like if you change someone's life to the degree, the greatest possible degree that would be meaningful to you, can you tell me this time next year, where are they right now and where would you transform them to this time next year?
Starting with them right now is to get them to realize that they matter and that it's okay for them to be their true selves. However, when it comes down from, I'm going to say, the president of the country, it might not meet with what they expect. So how do we change that so that whatever the president is saying, resonates with the populace. So they say, oh, that speaks to me. Now I know who I am and what I can do. Does that make sense to you?
It does. And I'm curious, is the person who you, is the person whose life you're wanting to change I have some questions about frictions, but are they up against a system or are they up against culture?
Both.
When you think about the frictions, okay, so when we think about what's standing in the way of them being seen and correctly reflected by their elected officials and being able to live an authentic life in their country, some of the frictions that are getting in their way are systemic, I'm going to say challenges, possibly just overt structural oppression and cultural beliefs and bias and restrictions. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes.
When you think about trying to transform the life of one or more of these wonderful folks who, you have a vision for, maybe even are helping them create vision for themselves, what are some of the things getting in the way of your doing so? Obviously, it sounds like a very heavy cultural belief system and policies that are in place, but what are some other frictions that keep you from achieving this right now?
Connections. That's one of the biggest issues that I have right now is connections. In order to speak to the presidents, I have to have connection to get to the presidents in order to present how I work with people so that they will see the value in it. And also by showing them how to use language differently to bring their people on board. Does that make sense to you?
It does. I want to scoot forward because that's a resource. That's something you need to add to your toolkit. I need access to this person.
Mhm.
So your actual client is the president. The person whose life you're trying to, change, you're going after, I need to meet with and coach the president into different outcomes. Is that something that's you're thinking? So that's one pathway forward. That's a process. A process you've decided on that could work would be if I can shift the president in policy and messaging, I can impact the customer's life that I'm trying to change. Yes. There might be 5 other ways to do it. So we want to stay focused on this time next year, they will be living authentic lives, free of systemic oppression. Are you seeing the difference between I've got to meet the president and I've got to get them here? Okay, so we're hearing the resource you need for one of the pathways would be access to the person who truly could make all of this happen, bibbity bobbity boo, right? Wave of a wand. What is something standing in the way of your doing it? For instance, I am, 3,000 miles away from the heart of the action. Like, give me some actual frictions that you would need to remove in order to be as effective as you want to be.
Now that is a very good question. I hadn't thought about that.
I wrote a book.
Yeah. What is standing in my way? Getting started and working with people who have access to people that they can introduce me to that would get me where I want to be.
I want to really come into that is a limitation that you're currently creating for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have decided the only way to make change is to find the people who are going to give you access to the person who's going to make the change. And so when we get into ideation, you're going to start getting bigger than the one way I've decided that this can be accomplished. That is a limitation that you've placed on yourself, but I am sure based out of this is what you understand and this is what you know. How am I doing? Go ahead.
You just gave me one of my biggest aha moments. Thank you. Thank you very much. Because I never thought of it as a self-limitation. Thank you.
Absolutely. This is what we do.
Awesome.
I'm modeling what you're about to go out and do yourself, right? You're about to have a bunch of these conversations with the people whose lives you're trying to change. They're going to tell you a way to do it that's not going to require you to meet the president of the country. But these conversations change everything, right?
You're absolutely right, because it could be a groundswell with the people themselves. Thank you.
So the next step for you are the customer conversations. You're going to find 4 or 5 people, actual people living in the circumstances whose lives you're trying to change. And you're going to have this conversation with them. What does amazing look like? what's getting in the way of you living that life? What can I add? What resource can we get to you that would help you live the life? Any gaps I can fill? And then you're going to say, thank you. And you're going to step away. And then you're going to come back with one small thing that you're going to try to see if you can move the needle for them, that you collectively have the ability to implement. And you're going to learn so much from that tiny test. I call them tiny tests. In tech, they're called MVPs, minimum viable products. Don't create infrastructure. I'm going to start a nonprofit. I'm going to, I'm going to, buy a plane so I can get back and forth. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, I'm going to have these conversations and I'm going to use that information and all the research and data I can find. And then I'm going to put together a very small test to say, I think we can move this one. I think I can create this for you in 30 days. And that is going to start building the sense of agency. And what else will it be doing? Building the connections that you need authentically from the ground up as a woman of change.
Can we unspotlight for a moment? Still keep everybody together and keep this.
Thank you, Dr. Inez. That was amazing.
It was. Let's show the whole group. How many of you here are already a stand for something happening in Africa? Raise your hand. Yeah. So Dr. Inez, it's not a conversation you need to sit with alone. In fact, if you rewatch the replay of the conversation with Barbara and Melanie, and then add this piece to it, and then set up your own dialogue around this and how you're going to go have these conversations, not just with each other, right? Then it's more ideation and process and nonprofits, and we get really high on activity, but that isn't impactful activity necessarily, but then go out and have these conversations with community members. And this, as far as the Diva Network goes and our vision into Africa, it's the only way this can happen, because though I lived in Africa, I am not from Africa. I am not living there now. And I lived a very privileged life, even when I was in Africa, that was, pure whatever it was. So I'm not going to be the person that can go have the real authentic conversations, in my opinion, at the levels that you all can have. And the reason we're going into Africa first is because you are our members who said, I want to bring this to Africa. Very powerful. Thank you.
Yes.
DMA, anything else with Dr. Inez or anybody here? I just wanted to presence the room to Dr. Inez and Dr. Inez to the resources in the room.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I would rather just, anytime someone had a hand up a second ago, and anytime that remains that we can answer, however granular the questions might be, time for us to answer those questions. What's going to move your needle today? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Adora.
Yes. So when you're thinking of what you just saw happen and all of this, JKN, I've seen, she said that she's dropped the replays and the questions are all going to be in school. But and in fact, you don't know this, DMA, but as we've taken the feedback from our clients and our people we're locking arms with, our collaborators, one of the things that we've decided as a team that we're going to simplify the Start Here messaging for members. And part of their beginning will be the classes with you, where they have to, before they get to do anything else, so that they're coming into community with their blue sky in mind and with clarity around how to collapse time. And we're clear that we all have to keep exercising the outcome over process, outcome over tools, outcome over. So if any of you are having some questions around your own blue sky, we have a very short amount of time. One major question, DMA, is people want to know where to order your book.
Yes, and thank you, Adora. I know we talked about this last week. We are updating Planet DMA radically and adding the pre-order page. But as soon as I just get the link for the pre-order, don't worry about that. That is infrastructure, baby. As soon as I get a link to the pre-order page, I will get that posted in Diva Network because I would just love that and be very, very excited for that. It is going to be integrated into Corgi as an actionable board to no one's surprise. So I'm really excited for you guys to get more info, and I appreciate your interest, and I will have that link for you.
We're all ready for that. And then Justine is saying that she wants to open some work sessions of Corgi, and one of our methods this week to the outcomes that you all have asked is that we're going to start moving what you're seeing right here, the majority of it, to members only. Because if you look, it's predominantly the members that are in here working and moving. And we're going to start having work sessions, some led by Arthur, some coaching sessions by Lorna around your events, and then Justine, whether it's Corgi sessions or some other type of work session that has different themes, but leader led. And then, you know, Ed Cross and Kim Cross, they lead a book club on Saturdays. So you'll start to see some distinctions of, okay, here are community led and Diva Network approved activities, because we still need guidelines and culture, you know, culture created kind of, you know, parameters or borders that protect us all. But then, and then we'll have member only things, and then community for the whole grand community, kind of open that way. It's really clear for you, and you know, if I can't be on every day, here are the things I can be on, and that kind of thing. So, okay. So anything else? I see that we're at 2 minutes. DMA, how would you?
Yes. I want to give you, it's such a low-hanging fruit. It's one of my favorite analogies. I often do it as a icebreaker. But I want to do it because it's going to make it feel so simple, the thought of approaching customers this way. So I want you to picture that we have all just met Dr. Inez. And I have just told you, I'm super excited to have met her. I'm going to plan her, I'm going to plan a birthday party for Dr. Inez. Mm-hmm. Who's excited for me to plan a birthday party for Dr. Inez? Great. But the most important thing is, I don't want to talk to Dr. Inez before I plan the party. I just want to plan a birthday party, and I want to plan one for her. So I have all these great ideas, and I'm going to plan this incredible birthday party for Dr. Inez. Is that going to be Dr. Inez's best possible birthday party, or my best possible birthday party?
Your best.
Yes. So that's how I want you to think about the solutions that you're trying to create. Don't plan birthday parties for your customer. You know, instead, try and give them a delightful birthday. And you have to find out what's delightful and what they're, you know, I don't even know what she's allergic to. She may hate her birthday. You know, she may already have a standing birthday experience with her best friend since she was 5. So I need to know the customer to serve the customer. So don't plan the party. That's the infrastructure. Talk to your client and say, hey, what does an amazing birthday look like for you, and how can I help get you there? It's a complete transformation and such a flip of the mindset.
How fun it was to watch Dr. Inez get those aha moments, right? And to watch DMA work so magically. And so DMA, we're going to be getting your book soon, is what you're saying.
You're going to be getting the link.
The pre-order.
But you'll get the pre-order link. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that so much, everyone. Thank you very, very much.
Well, it looks amazing to us to have a book that we can go back to and look at the questions, to have a book that Ed can lead the crowd through after the 12 miracles of life. And so it also looks amazing to support you in your vision of getting the book out. So you're helping us get to our best possible outcomes, because we'll get to condition what we're learning here and have more resources for that. So thank you.
Thanks,
and let's go ahead and come off of mute and express our gratitude and appreciation as we wrap the day. DMA loves when we don't separate the room, so we kept everybody here, members. everybody together.
Yay!
Thank you.
DMA.
Diva
Great.
Network for
Thank you
cheering.
so much,
Thank you,
everyone.
thank you.
Yes.
Ubuntu. Thank you for the
Amazing.
Ubuntu.
Thank you.
Ubuntu.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, DMA. Thank you.
Have a
Big
beautiful
hugs.
rest of the day.
Increíble. DMA.
Big hugs.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. All right. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow.
I love you
We'll see you tomorrow.
too.
Thank you, Dr. Andrea. Way to win. Go out, create the
Yeah.
impact. Have